Okay, today we're diving into Bolivia, a country of absolutely breathtaking extremes right in the heart of South America. This is a place whose past riches literally funded empires, and whose future resources, well, they could power our entire planet.
And really, this one sentence tells you almost everything you need to know. Bolivia's story has always been forged by the incredible wealth just beneath its soil. First it was silver, then tin, and now it's something that could change absolutely everything. It's a history of boom and bust that really makes you wonder, will this time be different?
You know, to really get Bolivia, you have to start with the land itself. It's not just some pretty backdrop, it's the actual stage for its entire dramatic story. It's a land that stretches from the literal roof of the Andes Mountains down into the very heart of the Amazon. And the scale of the difference here is just mind-boggling. I mean, in a single country, you can go from the snow-capped peak of Nevado Sahama, soaring over 21,000 feet high, all the way down to the humid, low-lying banks of the Paraguay River. We're not just talking about diversity here. This is a whole world of extremes packed into one nation. So you can kind of think of Bolivia as three completely different worlds, all in one place. First, you've got the famous Andean region. That's the high, arid plateau called the Altiplano. Then, as you descend, you hit the sub-Andean region, with its beautiful, fertile valleys. And finally, you reach the Llanos, these vast tropical lowlands of the Amazon basin that make up, get this, almost 60% of the entire country. Now, this incredible landscape didn't just shape the environment. It shaped human history. It gave birth to powerful ancient civilizations and, much later, held unimaginable riches that would go on to change the course of the entire world. Long before the Spanish ever showed up, this area was a cradle of civilization. You had the Tiwanaku culture, which rose up near Lake Titicaca and became a major regional power for centuries. Later, of course, the mighty Inca Empire swept through and absorbed the area. So we're talking about thousands of years of complex societies, all before the sudden and very violent arrival of European conquerors. So what's this number? 150,000. In the 16th century, that was the peak population of a Bolivian city called Potosi. To put that in perspective for you, that was bigger than London or Paris at the time. It was one of the largest and wealthiest cities in the entire world. And it was all built on one thing: silver. The mountain that looms over Potosi, called Cerro Rico, or Rich Hill, was like a bottomless piggy bank for the Spanish Empire. The silver from this one mountain bankrolled Spain for centuries. But all that wealth came at a horrific human cost, extracted through the mita system, a brutal form of forced labor that claimed the lives of countless indigenous people. Okay, so after 3 centuries of colonial rule, the call for independence finally echoed across the continent. But for the brand new Republic of Bolivia, freedom was going to come at a steep and very, very permanent price. And this quote just perfectly captures the hope of that moment. After 16 long years of war, the nation was finally born, and it was named in honor of the great liberator, Simón Bolívar. A congressman made this really elegant proposal. If from Romulus, Rome, he said, then from Bolívar, Bolivia. And, well, the name stuck. But all that early optimism, it pretty quickly collided with a harsh reality. Over the next 100 years, Bolivia got tangled up in a series of just disastrous wars with its neighbors. The War of the Pacific cost the country its entire coastline, leaving it completely landlocked. Then, the Acre War meant a huge, rubber-rich territory was lost to Brazil. And finally, the devastating Chaco War ended with a massive part of the Gran Chaco region going to Paraguay. And here's the result. When you add it all up, Bolivia has lost more than half of its original territory. Just think about that. It's a staggering loss that created this deep national trauma of being cut off from the sea, and it has profoundly shaped the country's psyche and its place in the world, even to this day. The 20th century, though, brought a totally different kind of struggle. This time, it was a fight for the very soul of the nation itself. This was a period that saw the rise of the country's long-sidelined indigenous majority, and it would end with the complete redefinition of what it even means to be Bolivian. The huge turning point was the 1952 National Revolution. I mean, this fundamentally remade the country. It gave all citizens the right to vote for the first time, it nationalized the country's vital tin mines, and it kicked off a massive land reform program. This was really the first great step in empowering the majority of the population. That whole journey led to the 2009 Constitution, which officially renamed the country the plurinational state of Bolivia. Now, this wasn't just a simple name change. No. This was a fundamental declaration that Bolivia isn't a single nation, but a state made up of many nations, officially recognizing the rights of its 36 distinct indigenous groups. And you have to understand this diversity to understand modern Bolivia. While a majority of people identify as mestizo, which means they have mixed European and indigenous ancestry, a large and really influential part of the population is indigenous. The whole plurinational idea was about formally acknowledging that reality in the very structure of the government. The political high point of this whole shift came in 2006 with the election of Evo Morales, the country's first ever indigenous president. His government took the money from nationalized resources and poured it into social programs. And the results were dramatic. The extreme poverty rate plummeted from 38% all the way down to 15%. That is a truly transformative change for millions and millions of people. And that brings us to today. Once again, Bolivia finds itself at a massive crossroads. And once again, it's all about the immense wealth lying right under its feet. But this time, the resource we're talking about isn't silver or tin. It's the key to our entire planet's green energy future. If you look at Bolivia's economic history, you see a really clear pattern, a cycle of being dependent on just one big thing. In the colonial era, it was silver. In the early 20th century, it was all about tin. Then natural gas was the big deal in the late 20th, and now the great hope, and let's be honest, the great question mark is lithium. So what is this number? 21 million tons. That is the estimated size of Bolivia's lithium reserves. To be clear, that is by far the largest known deposit of lithium anywhere in the world. In an age of electric cars and massive battery storage, this makes Bolivia unbelievably important on the world stage. But here's the massive dilemma. All of this incredible wealth lies right underneath the Salar de Uyuni, the world's largest salt flat, a place that is just a breathtaking, iconic natural wonder. Extracting the lithium on a massive scale could damage this unique ecosystem forever. It's the classic resource curse, right? The paradox where a country with all this natural wealth actually ends up poorer and less developed. For Bolivia, it's a 21st century version of a very, very old story. So we have to end with this question. After centuries of having its riches dug up and shipped away for the benefit of others, can Bolivia finally leverage this new boom to build its own nation sustainably? Can it finally break that historical cycle of exploitation to power not just our future, but more importantly, its own? That's the question the entire world is watching.